Guys, welcome to the show. Nice countdown there, Judah. Thank you for joining us on the program. We're live in Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille network. It's good to be with you on a Friday afternoon. A lot we're going to cover on the broadcast. If you could do me the pleasure of giving it a like and a share anywhere you're watching the show, that would mean the absolute pleasure to us. You got the stream set up correctly there, Judah?
Yeah.
Are you certain on that? Okay. Give us a like and a share, and we're going to have fun on today's show. We're going to talk about Dirty Nellies on the broadcast. We've been following it closely. I've been touching base with the agent that's managing the sale of that business, and he's given us ample information that we need to relay to you. We're going to be talking some college football on the program today. A lot of big-time games happening. We're going to be talking about Virginia Public Schools. 37,000 less kids enrolled into Virginia Public Schools. That's going to come up on today's show. We're going to talk about why we think Apple is going to pop big time in Q4 and in Q1 from a stock standpoint, including Apple and its commitment to 5G, including Apple and its new phones that it's rolling out, and how these phones do not come with a plug that you can plug into the wall. You literally have to pay for those separately. So Apple may be nickeling and diming you, and it's nickeling and diming you for the betterment of stocks and their particular stock price. We'll talk restaurants on the broadcast today as well. Some of the restaurants, some of the news we're hearing from that industry is going to come up on the show. And we're going to take your questions, your thoughts, your feedback on today's broadcast. If you could, do me a favor of giving the show a like and a share anywhere you're watching the show. That would mean the world to us. And Susan Stimart is going to join us for the Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust on today's broadcast. So a lot to cover on a Friday before the weekend. I want to get first to Dirty Nellies. You have the images from Nellies that you can get on screen, Judah? Get those on screen now. Thank you, sir. He's getting them on screen ASAP. Thank you for that, Judah. So I've been touching base with Stu Rifkin, who is brokering the deal, and Stu has let us know the price for the deli, Wayside Deli. This is not the fried chicken place. This is Wayside Deli and not Wayside Fried Chicken. The deli is the eatery that's tied to Dirty Nellies. You can buy both the deli and the bar. The asking price is $75,000 for the deli and the bar. Now, I want to correct something that I said on Wednesday. The convenience store is not included in the $75,000 ask. The convenience store, they are asking $20,000 just for the convenience store. The owner of the convenience store is different from the owners of the deli and the bar. Now, you could probably broker a deal because the convenience store, the bar, and the deli are all now for sale. So they're asking $20K for the convenience store, $75,000 for the bar and the deli. A total of $95,000 asking price get you all three businesses from two different owners. This is an opportunity for somebody who wants to get into this game. I don't know if it's, I don't know if there's a laundry list of buyers that are out there because it is COVID-19. But that is information for you. And Johnny, welcome to the broadcast. Good to see you, Johnny Ornalis. So that's the nitty-gritty, and then I'll get your comments on it. If you want to buy Dirty Nellies the bar and Wayside Deli, the deli and the bar have an asking price of $75,000. The convenience store is not including in the deal, but the convenience store is for sale, and the convenience store has an asking price of $20,000. So you have an opportunity to buy all three for under under $100,000. Would you do it? That's a question I'm going to put on the feed right now. Somebody's going to do it. Would you be the one who's willing to do it? That's a question I have for you on the show. It's a staple. It's an institution. I think we all know the value of Dirty Nelly's. One of the last great dive bars. If you think of dive bars in Charlottesville, and dive bar is not a knock. A dive bar moniker is not a knock. Dive bar is a compliment. It is a compliment. How many dive bars can you think of in Charlottesville, Virginia? There are not many. I would say Nelly's is a dive bar, and I mean that in the very complimentary term. I'd say the Double Horseshoe Saloon on High Street, I'd say that's a dive bar, right? I'd say Brothers Bar and Grill, Brothers Bar and Grill, by the Best Buy, by the World Market, right there on 29, right behind that the adult store, Ultimate Bliss. Not that I know anything about that, but there's a nice little dive bar behind the adult store, Ultimate Bliss, called Brothers Bar and Grill. Outside of that, can you think of many dive bars in Charlottesville or Albemarle County? Am I missing any? That's a question I have for you. If I am, put them in the feed. So you guys have been asking me left and right. I got the information from Stu Rifkin himself, who is brokering the deal. If you want to buy Dirty Nelly's and Wayside Deli, the deli that is attached to Dirty Nelly's, the asking price is $75K. You can also purchase the convenience store from a second and separate owner, and the asking price for the convenience store is $20,000. So for a total asking price of $95K, you can buy the bar, the deli, and the convenience store that very much serves Fry Springs and the JPA neighborhoods. A relied upon little neighborhood bar, deli, and convenience store. What do you think of the price? Give it a like and a share. Let me know in the comments. Cody, you think Cody? You know what, Cody, you're probably right. Cody Kaysen says, I'd say Miller's is a dive bar as well. Miller's, you know what, I'll agree with you, Cody, on that. The only reason I did not include Miller's in the conversation with Dirty Nelly's and Double Horseshoe Saloon was because of its location on the downtown mall. But we'll include Miller's in there as a dive bar as well. And it's important to emphasize this. We are not knocking these brands or these businesses by calling them dive bars. In fact, my wife and I, for example, we enjoy going to neighborhood bars or neighborhood pubs or dive bars, areas where locals go to. So we enjoy going to places like that very much. So it's not an ask. Andre Xavier says, I wonder what the P&L for such a low asking price. I would think, Andre, that the P&L is not super promising, and that's a reflection of the low asking price. Why I would think it's not super promising is over the last 7 months, we've had COVID. So you're going to need to find a buyer that potentially is willing to overlook 2020 numbers and instead consider 2019 financials as the barometer of what a business could do. And I don't think there's a ton of buyers out there that are willing to overlook 2020 financials. Agree or disagree with me, guys? Good comment right there from Andre Xavier. Another thing that potentially the businesses have going against them is the landlord, the owner of this real estate. The real estate is not included in the deal. It's just a transaction for the business. The owner of this real estate has a notorious reputation for not upkeeping his real estate, just allowing properties to crumble and be shadows of their former selves. So I think that is a reflection of the asking price as well. Cody Kaysen says, the upstairs section of Miller's gives me the dive bar feel. I agree with her. The third floor of Miller's, one of the last places in the city of Charlottesville, you could smoke cigarettes and cigars actually inside the building. The reason you can do that at Miller's is because they have a separate ventilation system on the third floor from the rest of the restaurant. So you can actually smoke a cigarette or a stogie on the third floor of Miller's, a further reflection of the dive bar feel. Cody, I think you're on point with that. Let me know your take, your thoughts. $75,000 for Dirty Nelly's, the bar, and the deli. An additional $20,000 will get you the convenience store. Under $100,000 asking price for the whole shebang. Someone will make a move on that in the city of Charlottesville. I'm curious of what your take on that is. Other topics that I want to get to on today's program. Virginia Public Schools had 37,000 fewer students enrolled in Virginia Public Schools this fall. 37,000. That is causing a threat of $155 million in budget cuts. Remember, public schools in the Commonwealth get money from Virginia based on enrollment. And when 37,000 students sprint for the exits in public schools in Virginia, you have an enrollment issue on your hands. I'm going to say this now, and it won't be the last time you hear me say this on this show. Albemarle County Public School System did a survey, and in this survey, it polled parents, and it asked parents of Albemarle County schools, do you want your kids back into the school system? Nearly 70% of parents of Albemarle County students said, get my kids in the schools and get them in the schools immediately. Roughly 60% of the teachers in Albemarle County schools said, we don't feel comfortable teaching these students in the hallways of schools. So you have this serious dichotomy and crossroads. 7 out of 10 parents want their kids in the schools. 6 out of 10 teachers in the school system say, no, I don't feel comfortable teaching them in here. As long as that dichotomy is present, and as long as that crossroads has momentum behind it, the byproduct is parents pulling their kids out of public schools. And if parents continue to pull their kids out of public schools, you see the city is now thinking about keeping the school systems virtual well into 2021. As long as we have this emphasis on keeping the schools public virtual, you will continue to see enrollment numbers in city and in public schools across the Commonwealth drop. And right now, we've had 37,000 less students in Virginia in public schools in our area. 37,000. I'll say it again. I've said it many times on the show. COVID is threatening the security, the foundation, the future of public schools across the country, and certainly in the Commonwealth of Virginia. County schools are down enrollment-wise. City schools are down enrollment-wise. Morale is down from both a teacher and parent standpoint. Students are learning via computers in their kitchen, while their private school counterparts are learning in person. The longer we go down this road, the more vulnerable the school system will be. Johnny Ornalis says, Albemarle County teachers have a drive-through demonstration today at 3 p.m. We have a serious crossroads at our hand that is only strengthening the private schools, the pods in neighborhoods, and homeschooling, and weakening public schools. Eventually, the public schools have to ask themselves this question: if we continue to insist upon a virtual learning environment, how many more students will we lose from an enrollment standpoint? And if we continue to lose students from an enrollment standpoint, where is the money going to come to keep our public school system operating the way it should? Because you're getting roughly $3,000 per kid in a school. And if 37,000 less kids are enrolled, you got a financial issue on your hands. Right? It's like if you're a restaurant and your restaurant sees a third less business coming through its doors. How long could that restaurant continue to have its lights on if a third of its business is not walking in patronizing the restaurant by buying food at the register or through a waiter or waitress and eating it inside? If 37,000 kids have already left the public school system and more continue to do it in Virginia, how long can the school system survive in its current format without the financial resources it needs? It's a very real question. Give me your take on the feed. Share your thoughts, your comments, your concerns, and I will relay it on air here on the I Love CVille show. This question's coming in from Chris, who is watching. Chris, where are you watching? Are you in North Downtown? I know sometimes you put in your feed. Or are you in Crozet? We have two Chris's that routinely comment on the show. Let us know where you're watching. This comment from Chris says, Jerry, if we don't get the kids back in school, there's no way the public school system will continue to survive. If you have an opportunity to learn amongst your peers in a neighborhood or a classroom in a private school, why would you go back to a public school? Parents are doing just what's best for their kids, and that's what parents are supposed to do. Thank you for your comments. Agree or disagree with him. Put it in the feed. The next comment, or the next topic I want to get to, we've been calling this on the show since COVID hit. And now you're seeing Richmond's first dispensary coming to the market later this month. Judah, if you could get the headline on screen for me, please. Look at the screen. This is from the Richmond Times-Dispatch. So, Greenleaf Medical of Virginia began operations in May of this year. In October, later this month, it's going to debut cannabis products and its first dispensary on the ground floor of its production facility. Initially, it's only going to sell products to qualifying patients. However, if cannabis is legalized in Virginia, it will have infrastructure in place for brick and mortar retail for everyone. I've said this once, I'll say it again. We have a tremendous budget deficit on our hands, whether it's schools, whether it's municipalities across the Commonwealth, whether it's the Commonwealth itself. What will happen sooner than later is you're going to see both gambling, casinos, and retail cannabis legalized in Virginia. This will be done to make up a budget deficit. Now, they're still going to come after us and tax us from a real estate standpoint and raise our taxes any way they can without us going over the deep end and getting really upset. But gambling and cannabis will drive new incremental taxes for the Commonwealth and for local municipalities. You have the first example, Greenleaf Leaf Medical of Virginia, who is basically setting up a retail location waiting for Virginia to offer the green light. This will happen more frequently. In fact, I let you guys know on this program, in the spring, we're an advertising agency. VMV Brands and I Love CVille is an advertising agency. We have the most market share as an advertising agency in Charlottesville and Central Virginia. We have entrepreneurs, small businesses, early stage businesses, mid-cap, large-cap businesses as clients. We have clients that do north of $50 million in sales. We have clients that say, I have an idea, help us take this concept to market. In the spring, I had an investor group give me a presentation at my desk right there of why and how they want to be the city of Charlottesville's first legal cannabis retail location, and they want to do it on either the downtown mall in Midtown or the UVA corner. They have the money. They have the political connections. They have multiple locations picked out. And what they were conversating with me about is how to manage the perception of the launch of this particular business. Now, they need Virginia to legalize this first, unlike Greenleaf Medical, who's going about this from a prescription and a medicine standpoint first, and then going brick and mortar retail. This particular group that presented to me just wanted to start off from day one being retail only, like you would see in Denver or in Colorado. And we chose to pass on the business. My firm did. Why we passed on the business is because, frankly, we're humming, and 2020 has been crushing it. But I think this group who has everything in order is going to crush it, just like this one in Richmond's going to crush it. Time will tell. Give it a like, give it a share on any of the feeds that you're watching on. I'll get to the comments on today's show that are coming in as we speak. Before we do, and Susan Stimart is going to join us in about 10 minutes on today's program. A couple more things that I want to get to. Let's talk Apple before we get to Susan Stimart and your comments. So you guys know I'm actively involved in, I trade a lot of stocks. Been doing it for a while. Apple is one that I think is going to pop tremendously in the fourth quarter and beyond. Why I think it's going to pop, I'm not an investment advisor. I'm just telling you what I'm doing with my personal money. I'm just relaying to you how I'm investing with my personal money. Invest however you see fit. When you do invest into stocks and equities, there are risks with any investment. Okay? This is just what I'm doing personally. So Apple has a number of things going for it. It's releasing its new model of phone very soon. And its new model of phone is tied to 5G. Okay? Not only is it releasing a new model of phone and pre-orders are being accepted now, but this new model of phone has a couple of different things going for it. It only is going to include the cable. So you know the little square thing that you plug into the wall that has the prongs for electricity? And then you take the cable into that little square thing to charge your phone? Well, when the new models are released, the square thing is not going to come with it. So you're going to have to buy your own plug, essentially. You'll get the cable, but you'll have to buy your own plug. Also, Apple is not going to include wireless earbuds anymore with its phones. You're going to have to pay for it yourself. So if you want to get wireless earbuds like this one right here, or if you're going to want to get one of those plugs to plug into the wall, you have to do that after you buy your phone. So those are two new profit centers for Apple. Furthermore, the new phones that it's releasing that are available for pre-sale orders now, they're only tied to 5G. So if you buy these new phones and you want faster speed and the better camera, it's only tied to 5G networks. So that's going to incentivize people to buy this phone because they're going to want faster speeds. Take it a step further. Apple is essentially becoming your digital healthcare database of records. So Apple's plan is to get everyone wearing a wearable, their Apple Watch. And they want your healthcare records tied to your Apple Watch. So if something were to happen to you and you passed out outside and you could not speak, someone from like an EMT or a doctor, a policeman, a fireman, whatever it may be, they can find you passed out on the ground. They could go to your Apple wearable and they could see, oh, this guy has diabetes. This guy is allergic to this medicine. This guy has a history of this, heart disease. This guy has whatever it may be. And that information could help save your life. Take it a step further. Working out in person inside gyms like ACAC. I go to ACAC all the time. A lot of people don't have confidence going to a gymnasium or a club, a healthcare facility, and working out inside. I do it all the time. I think ACAC is doing it extremely well and extremely safe. That being said, when I go into ACAC, I ask, how's attendance looking? They're never over 25% at the downtown facility. Never over 25% capacity. Okay? So that's cause for concern if you own a gymnasium or you're in the healthcare or club business. So what folks are doing now is they're working out at home. That's why you're seeing Peloton's stock spiking. Lululemon just purchased the business, the mirror business, where there's a mirror on your wall and you activate the mirror and there's a personal trainer that you're interacting with through the mirror. Now, the reason Lululemon did this is because there's a lot of vertical integration there, and they're able to sell their products, their tank tops, their fabulous pants, their clothes, their shirts, through the mirror in the midst of a workout. You can see how the person leading the workout say, hey, give me 20 burpees, up, down, 1, up, down, 2, up, down, 3, 10 jumping jacks, 1 jumping jack, 2 jumping jacks. By the way, you see how my pants are performing during this jumping jack? You can buy these through Lululemon. Just click this here on the mirror. It makes perfect sense to them. Now let's get back to Apple. People are working out more than ever at home or running around their neighborhood, riding their bike around their neighborhood, using their home gymnasium, the gymnasium they have in their gym, in their garage, So Apple, with the wearables, is basically saying, look, we can help improve your workouts if you buy one of our wearables, because we can say, your heartbeat's down, get it up. You need to take more steps, work out faster. Your heartbeat's clicking at a good level, okay? Keep it up. This is why I think Apple's on the verge of popping. You have multiple profit centers with a new phone that's about to be released tied to 5G. You're going to have to buy the earbuds for that new phone. You're going to have to buy a plug into the wall for the new phone, and they're pushing wearables more than ever. As a result, I've tripled down on my Apple position for the holiday shopping season and going into Q1. You do what you want with that. Give the show a like and a share. Give the show a like and a share on any of the Facebook pages you're watching on. I got a lot of comments coming in on Dirty Nellies. I got some comments coming in on the RVA dispensary. This is from Eric Gunderson. Hello, Eric. Good to see you, doctor. Back to the RVA dispensary topic. I'm not so sure that the medical model will crush it, given some barriers for patients, including geographic and finding certified prescribers. However, there is a lot of demand for medical cannabinoid treatment that I've noticed as a physician registered with the Commonwealth. It will be interesting to see how the RVA dispensary will roll out its products. Example, delivery, mechanisms, cannabinoid makeup, etc., and then assess outcome. So I appreciate that, Eric. I miss playing racquetball with you and miss seeing you around the racquetball courts. I'm going to throw this to the good doctor right there. Cannabis has already been decriminalized in Virginia to the point where an individual can have an ounce of cannabis on them and the police are going to look the other way. At worst, someone with an ounce of marijuana on them, at worst, is going to get a $50 ticket. At worst. The reality is, it's been decriminalized to the point where the police doesn't want to go through the hassle of the paperwork. So Virginia has created this economy, if you may, and this economy basically has taken a product that's used by significant amounts of people and legalized in 14 states in the United States. 14. Heck, it's legal in the District of Columbia. So Virginia has created this like black market economy. And this black market economy is running without really supervision. And all the finances and all the cash and money that's associated with this black market economy, and I would bet it's hundreds of millions of dollars a year in sales in the Commonwealth. That should be put in above books and legalized, and Virginia should get its taste for it, much like it did in the past with tobacco, much like it did in the past with alcohol. I'm not saying it needs to have as stringent as regulation as the Virginia ABC. I mean, the ABC is archaic at best, antiquated at best. But it should legalize it and tax it in some form to help make up for the deficit that we're facing. I mean, that is what it's doing with gambling. In January, the governor is going to issue 5 to 12 gambling licenses for casinos to be strategically placed across the Commonwealth of Virginia. Did you think you would see the day in Virginia that we would have brick and mortar casinos in southwestern Virginia and Norfolk, wherever it may be? Did you think we would see the day? That's a direct cause and effect of COVID and legislators and policymakers and elected officials trying to figure out where the money's going to come from to keep not only the Commonwealth, but local municipalities headed in the right direction. If you disagree with me, let me know. I mean, you had Vice President nominee Harris said in her debate with Vice President Pence that if Harris and Biden were to win, she straight up said, from a federal level, we'll legalize cannabis. From a federal level. And did you see what that did to the stocks of cannabis? I'm an active investor of Canopy Growth Company, which is a subsidiary of a larger company that does beer distribution, Constellation Brands. That stock popped. Canopy Growth, because of what Harris said in the vice president in the debate with Vice President Pence. Questions, comments, concerns, put them in the feed. Questions, comments, concerns, put them in the feed. This is coming in. This is from Louise. Jerry, I agree with you. I expect we'll see 1, 2, or maybe 3 retail dispensaries in Charlottesville. Certainly, if you're an entrepreneur or business person, you see the potential of having the college students in Charlottesville and what they could mean for a customer base. And you're right, we're going to have to figure out where this money's going to come from to keep Charlottesville, Albemarle County, and Virginia moving in the right direction. Eric Gunderson says, the good doctor, I concur that the legal model will rapidly expand, just not so sure the medical model will. My guess is that most of the medical businesses got started with medical to be in position for legalization. I agree. I think that's 100% right, Eric. I think the medical model is let's get the infrastructure in place so when the switch is flipped for legal retail, they're already ready to go. I concur. I agree 100% with that, Eric. 100%. This coming in about Dirty Nellies. Jerry, I agree that the asking price for Dirty Nellies is low because we know that the landlord, like you said, is not the most respected landlord in the area from what he'll do for a real estate standpoint. I agree with that comment. Absolutely right. Save $288, Judah, with Ting Fiber Internet. Let them know that. $288 with Ting Fiber Internet. The best internet possible is Ting. Is absolutely Ting. And we're using that on this program to run this show. So, Judah, I'm reaching out to Susan Stimart as we speak from the Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust. In fact, I have Susan on the line now. Susan, I'm glad we made this work out. You're live in Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world here on the I Love CVille network. How are you today, Susan?
I was a little bit nervous earlier. My Skype all of a sudden disappeared.
Well,
weird.
It's back, and you're here.
Yeah, I'm here. So yeah, thank you for having me. We're actually getting some great feedback from people who are watching your show and asking for more information about the land trust. So thank you so much for showcasing this local organization dedicated to affordable housing. One of the things that I was thinking about in terms of sharing information about the land trust is that it might be fun for people to see how does the land trust work? Why is it different? So I just thought I would whiteboard. I'm
Please.
Thinking about that senator who got in front of a drug company a while back, and she whiteboarded some math, and she was so brilliant. Congresswoman Katie Porter. So anyway, I was just going to show. Maybe it's hard to read.
Oh, that's perfect. We can read it.
Okay, great. So if we start with just an assumption that kind of spells it all out, and that is the price for a land trust home doesn't include the land. So it's significantly cheaper. And basically you look at a price of $215,000 versus $315,000. And then if you assume everything else across the board, the same interest rate of 3.2%, 90%, 97% loan to value ratio, and then you look at your insurance and your taxes, your insurance of $50 a month or your taxes of $250 a month, you end up with the land trust home costing a mortgage payment of $907 to the conventional of $1,329. And then you add in your taxes and your insurance, and you get to a final price tag of, see if I can write on the whiteboard, that'd be the thing to do, $1,207 for the land trust home, and $1,629. Sorry, there's my 2 and there's my 9. $1,629 for conventional. So you just think about that every month, how much money you're putting in your pocket for other things and how much of a difference that makes to your quality of life. I go back to reading a book recently. I'm sure most others have heard of it. Michelle Obama wrote Becoming Michelle Obama, and she talked about how her family, her parents in particular, didn't buy a home for the majority of her upbringing. They rented, and that's clearly a choice for some people. But they made that decision because they didn't want to be house poor. And so, when you think about having a mortgage payment of $1,207 instead of $1,629, it makes a difference to your quality of life every month.
Now, here's the question. Where are we going to find more land for you guys to do the land trust model? And you have Woodard Properties, our friends at Woodard Properties, just shared your appearance on the show right now.
Well, that's great. That's great. They're actually supporting a fundraising effort that we're doing, the social equity game. We've talked about that on your show before. Woodard Properties is on Team Monticello, I'm remembering, and so that it's really an exciting effort to raise funds and awareness of what the land trust does for what will be the next build. So we have under contract a property in the 10th and Page neighborhood. And we're looking to build up what will be 5 homes, we're hoping, if everything goes through with our rezoning proposals. So City Council has to approve the project, obviously, but it's designed in the range of 4 to 5 homes for next year. So that's really exciting. And then in terms of the social equity game, we have some rock stars in the teams, and we are now up to $43,000.
Nice.
In terms of raising funding for supporting the mission of the Land Trust efforts to acquire land. That's our main mission, is just acquire land for Land Trust homes. We have all the funding in place thanks to one of our partners, Fulton Bank. They are very supportive with construction financing, and then they've also done a tremendous job providing mortgages to some of our home buyers, our first-time home buyers. You may imagine that other mortgage companies may look at a land trust and think, oh, this is a little bit too weird. Fulton Bank has it figured out. So that's exciting on that end.
You're going to love this, Susan. Julia Roberts from Fulton Mortgage is watching. And she says, hey, it's Julia Roberts from Fulton Mortgage, a trusted partner with the Land Trust and a proponent of getting people into affordable housing.
Yes. Terrific. Thank you, Julia. I appreciate that shout out.
How about this question right here coming in? Jerry, I enjoy the interviews with the lady from the Land Trust. Her name is Susan Stimart. She's awesome. But the comment goes, I enjoyed the interview from the lady with the Land Trust. Can you ask her what she thinks will happen to the 10th and Page neighborhood once Dairy Market and Dairy Central are done being developed?
I'm going to plead I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with the neighborhood. That's a very big question, and a lot of people, I think, are looking at that and working toward it. I was speaking with someone from Virginia Housing this morning about that. What are the changes that may come about, and why our project is so important? I think if you just even Google the 10th and Page neighborhood, you'll see that there's been a history of this being a historically black neighborhood, and then also pressures from gentrification, being given its close proximity to the university. So that's a historic challenge that's been in place. And then Dairy Market is a revitalization effort of some of those commercial buildings that were there previously, the dairy building being the big one. So how is that going to play out? I don't know. I mean, certainly goods and services will be more accessible for the residents in that area, but it may put pressure on homeowners to sell for a higher price point. And that's where the Land Trust is also an important tool, because it keeps the homes in the Land Trust portfolio affordable under the ground lease for 90 years. So no gentrification pressure there. You buy the house and you get to build equity in your house, but you're not going to flip it for an astronomical price the next year. You see that happen in a lot of communities these days. And that's something that we just have to be careful of. It's important to take equity out of your house, of course, but if it gets to the point where it's not affordable for people working in the community, that's not a good situation. It's not a good situation.
Do we think, is the Land Trust model a better fit for, say, the county over the city because there's more land, or is it you're looking to make it happen anywhere?
I think it can happen anywhere. There's different ways the Land Trust can be applied. So 10th and Page circumstance is an infill. It's a vacant lot now, and we would be putting new houses in the vacant lot. So that's a good situation. Our Nassau project, also vacant land in an infill circumstance. If you think about the county, they have some larger subdivisions coming together. North Point, a few others I could rattle off. Old Trail is sort of an evolution. If they had in their proffer policy or their affordable housing policy, which I think they're working on right now, that some homes could be set aside for Land Trust, then it gets to be integrated into the development. And you don't really know, if you look at one house versus another house, is one a Land Trust house or not a Land Trust house? No way to know. If you're using the same builder, certainly no way to know. So it helps people from different backgrounds, different circumstances, be able to come into the same neighborhood and get to, diversify circumstances. It's not all the same person, same type of family. Jerry, you've talked a lot about this. You're much more well-spoken than I am about why diversity is so important in Charlottesville.
Well, I learned from folks like you. I learned from you. So Jennifer Patton has this comment. She says, I love the interview and the time you're spending with the land trust. This is an important need for this community. Can you please ask Susan what the goals are for the social equity game, financial and beyond?
Financial, I shouldn't say this. We set a goal of $20,000, and
we're at $43,000.
I shouldn't say that, but please.
I think the new goal is $80,000, Susan. 80,000 is the new goal. Okay, because I don't know. Did you ever expect it to get to this number?
No, I didn't.
Right. It's amazing.
It's tremendous.
Yeah.
The reality is we have very specific land acquisition goals. So as much as we can work toward those, we're going to be helping Charlottesville and other parts in our area with those types of housing products. So that's the goal. Buy land to build land trust homes. And then secondarily, it's because the land trust is a little bit weird. You want to think of it as a condo, but it's not exactly a condo. Your inviting us on the show is so helpful for us to be able to talk about why it's different and how it works, and be able to just be a resource if someone has a question or someone wants to apply for a land trust home. So for the price of one house in Charlottesville, we think we're going to get to a portfolio of 12 units. I'll just put it like that. That's pretty incredible. That's a good return.
That is incredible.
On grant donations.
You are getting so much love from Woodard Properties right now. Lindsay Steele Woodard is giving you props. JoJo Spagoni, who I absolutely love, is giving you props. She's on the Woodard Properties team. I loved it. And now I'm seeing Tiger Fuel and King Family jumping into the mix here on behalf of the Land Trust. This is the power of social media when it's used for the good, and the good is the Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust. What is in store for the rest of the year with you guys? I mean, we're already in October.
Yeah, Jerry, there's not a lot of year left. Yeah, so we're going to be working with what you would consider community engagement, kind of like what you and I are doing right now, but we'll be working in the 10th and Page neighborhood, getting feedback from the residents there, the business owners there, about this proposal. As I said, it will probably be a rezoning or a special use permit combo, and we want the community to be supportive of the project. So we want their input on the product, on the design, and so we'll be working in the next few months to make sure that everyone, A, understands what a land trust home is, why it's good, why it's different, and B, helping them getting their input on the design. We want to, fit with the character of the 10th and Page neighborhood rather than, impose something that doesn't fit the character. Yeah. So that's what we'll be doing, working on designs of houses.
I love it. Jesse Rutherford is watching. Nelson County Board of Supervisors is watching the program. We have Ned from the county Board of Supervisors watching the broadcast and watching Susan. So Susan, you got some movers and shakers watching you on the show right now. Anything else you want to get out there?
Just send good thoughts and even open your wallets for the land trust, because we have a really good mission and we would love your support.
The goal is $80,000 now.
Jerry just put out a new goal. Thank you, Jerry.
80,000. We're at 43. We're going to get to 80. Susan, you're the best. I hope you have a phenomenal weekend. And thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jerry. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, take care. Give the show guys a like and a share. I love what they're doing. And I learned a lot about the land trust through my friend Keith Smith. I really love what they're doing for Charlottesville and this area. It's needed and essential. Questions, comments, concerns. A lot of feedback I'm getting on Dirty Nellies. All right, for those that are just watching that are asking this, I now have I have 2 text messages, and I have 5 direct messages on Instagram. All right, for those that are watching, here's the nitty-gritty about Dirty Nellies. The bar and the deli. This is not the chicken. It's not Wayside Fried Chicken. Wayside Fried Chicken is not for sale. Fried chicken place, not for sale. There are two things for sale. I'm trying to be clear. Two things for sale. The bar and the Wayside Deli are one thing for sale. And the bar and the deli have an asking price of $75,000. I confirm that with Stu Rifkin, the business broker who's trying to sell this business. The second thing that's for sale, and it's a little confusing because the second thing is in the same building as the first one, the first two things. The second thing that's for sale is the convenience store. The convenience store is being sold by the owner. There is no business broker involved in trying to sell the convenience store. The convenience store has an asking price of $20,000. The real estate is not included in these deals, so I'm clearing that up. You do not get the building for this. You strictly get the lease, the keys to operate the business, the opportunity to change the business, the name, the signage, make improvements inside, and the opportunity to run the business moving forward within the terms of your lease. So worth clearing up. $75,000 asking price for the bar and the deli, Stu Rifkin, business broker. $20,000 for the convenience store, no business broker, for sale by owner. You can get all of them if you combine the two deals. They have a combined asking price of $95,000 if you combine the two deals. Of course, I would encourage you to to offer full price. You better negotiate. So that's that for those that are asking. Someone will purchase these spots and turn them into something special. Before you purchase these spots and turning into something special, please, 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 please understand the terms of your lease and what you can do from an improvement standpoint when your lease expires, how much it escalates, and what's expected of you, the tenant, when compared to what's expected of the landlord from an upkeep standpoint. I can see a grab-and-go takeout model having tremendous success at this particular location. You have easy access from the bypass in the interstate right there on Fontaine. You have a captive audience eager to support something in the neighborhood in Fry Springs and JPA. You have, if we ever get back to football games, 6 or 7 home football games where 6 or 7 Saturdays a year, your business is going to blow up. You're within walking distance of all the university and the kids and the students, walking distance of basketball, okay? And the takeout model has not been emphasized by ownership. I mean, let's cut to the chase. Let's cut to the chase here. I love this place dearly. I used to live in Redfields, which is down 5th Street Extended. We used to go here all the time. Now I live in Keswick. But when I was going there, I'd love to pony up to the bar, have my belly against the bar. I'd order a 40 mile from 3 Notch, because I'm a huge fan of 3 Notch. I'd get a Lady Godiva sub. I'd sit at the bar, whether by myself or with a buddy or my wife, and I'd eat the sub, drink a beer, and just chill and talk to Sherry, the bartender. But I'm going to emphasize this to you, and it's not a knock, it just is what it is. I would say that innovation and trying new things is not necessarily something that ownership has emphasized at Dirty Nelly's of late. I mean, you're not seeing innovation. You're not seeing new things. So someone has a real good opportunity to come in here and potentially buy a business and really uptick it. The only concern that you have is the landlord and the terms of that lease. And frankly, the condition or shape of the building. Are you responsible for the roof if it leaks? The HVAC, is it a triple net lease? Is your lease going to expire next year and then the landlord's going to tear down the spot? I mean, that's the questions you have to ask yourself. You have a lot of promise and potential there. More comments coming in about Nelly's. I knew it would come in. I mean, you and I talked about this, Judah. We knew this was going to come in. Let me get to the college football stuff, and then I'll get to your comments here. Football, quickly, Judah, if we can get UVA's at Wake Forest. The line has not moved pretty much all week. The Wahoo's a 2.5-point favorite. They're in Winston-Salem with a 4 p.m. kickoff. We'll see what happens with Stone and Armstrong as they share reps. Time will tell. Boston College is at Virginia Tech. The Hokies, a 13-point favorite. Boston College at Virginia Tech. Hokies, 13-point favorite. That game kicks off 8 o'clock on the ACC network. And you have a big-time matchup between Georgia and Alabama. Georgia, number 3 in the country. Alabama, number 2. Crimson Tide, 4.5-point favorite. 8 p.m. kickoff on CBS. Number 2 versus number 3. Alabama's dealing with COVID left and right. We'll watch that game closely. And the Washington football team travels to the New York Giants on Sunday. The Giants a 2.5-point favorite. Kickoff 1 o'clock on Fox. We'll give Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Integrative Medicine some love. Scott Wagner is changing people's lives through chiropractic care, sports medicine, and physical therapy. Who's got your back? Dr. Wagner has your back. Questions coming in. I mean, I agree with this comment. This is exactly what we were talking about. This is exactly what we were talking about. This is coming in from Jackson. Jackson says, Jerry, if you did, like you said, a grab-and-go sandwich spot or something for families that they could quickly do to go or take out or carry out meals, this business would have a lot of success. That's something that we were asking Fry Spring Station to do more of, especially during COVID, and we weren't seeing this from Fry Spring Station. I agree with that. I think you have a captive audience in that neighborhood that is chomping at the bit to have something local cater to the neighborhood. I'm going to see if I can get Stu on the show. We'll see if we can get, in fact, I'll send him a message now. We'll see if we can get Stu on the broadcast to talk about this listing from Rifkin and Associates. The guy is well connected, knows a lot of what's going on in our community. Someone is going to buy this spot and turn this into a neighborhood bar, tap room that is family friendly, approachable, has good prices, has a good emphasis on curbside, takeout, and to-go food. It's got parking out front. It's got access to the bypass and the interstate. It's close to the University of Virginia. It's got promise. Getting through that landlord is the issue. Time will tell. Don't miss the Daily Digest today at 5 o'clock. All your news in 5 minutes or less, 5 days a week, 5 o'clock on the I Love CVille network, the I Love CVille Daily Digest, presented by Ting Fiber Internet. We will do that today at 5 o'clock. Looking forward to connecting with you guys through that platform. Ellen McClure and Jared Polson, welcome to the broadcast. Thank you kindly for joining us. Jerry, last comment. Jerry, why don't you use the power of I Love CVille and your resources to buy that and call it the I Love CVille bar and restaurant and see what happens? Because my wife would kill me if I did that. She already says we're working too long. But I thought about that. I have thought about that so many times of utilizing the influence and the reach of this network and partnering with maybe a PE firm or some kind of, private equity, and you doing a joint venture where we launch a couple of different models utilizing this influence. I've thought about that. I very much have thought about that. We will be back in the saddle at 5 o'clock for the Daily Digest. My name is Jerry Miller. This is the I Love CVille show. We love connecting with you guys through this platform. When you're out this weekend, keep it local. Shop local. Eat local. Drink local. Buy local. Support local. Times to do it is now. Okay, now is the time to do it. Thank you kindly for joining us. We'll see you at 5 o'clock for the Daily Digest. Take care.